Okay, so we do just have Marge on the line here today for our class 5 for Building a Better Us. This week we are focusing on physical activity and target heart rate. And really this week, what I really wanted to point out to everybody are just like a few objectives about it, just, the importance and the benefits of physical activity, because yes, we have talked about this obviously in our last two classes, but obviously physical activity is super important. So we'll talk about that. We'll definitely talk about some physical activity guidelines, just really on, how much you should be doing, kind of what you want to look for when you're engaged in cardiovascular activity to really see how much benefit you're getting out of it. And then that definitely leads to, are you exercising in what's called your target heart rate zone? Because we all have different parameters for where we kind of our heart rate should be when we're exercising to get benefits from it. So we'll go down through some of that information as well. All right. So obviously the benefits of physical activity. Definitely people who exercise regularly are less likely to develop all the things, that lead us to kind of joining these type of classes that we do, the heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, certain forms of cancer, osteoporosis. And definitely too, and I don't want to diminish the fact that physical activity is really good for chemical production in the brain, for releasing those feel-good chemicals, your endorphins, which make you feel good, make you feel energized, and for serotonin levels. And that's your kind of like your feel-good chemical. Those are the things that help with our mood and definitely help with our stress level as well. Individuals who exercise regularly are more likely to, maintain a healthy body weight. It's kind of why we all like start to look at exercise. We start noticing that we gain a few pounds and our clothes don't fit right. And then we're like, I really need to shed these. You're more likely to increase your energy levels and decrease your fatigue. I think we say a lot during this class that, it's so hard to exercise, absolutely. And I think the number one complaint for not exercising is, well, probably time is a big one for a lot of people. But also you don't feel like you have the energy to even do the exercise. But it really is a vicious circle, and the body works on energy, on the supply and demand theory. And if you force your body to use energy, it actually creates energy, and it creates more energy. So ultimately, you do have more energy throughout the day. And it seems rather, cliche to think that, the harder I work, the more energy I have, but it's really true. Um, when you exercise too, you improve your skin and hair health. You look younger. It definitely helps with skin elasticity. And that definitely, then plays into the fact about hydration and staying well hydrated, because it's good. It kind of keeps things lubricated. It keeps them going. It doesn't, make us look as wrinkly prematurely. It decreases stress incurred during daily living. We talk about stress obviously all the time. It's a huge one. We've all talked about our stress buckets. In our daily living is our stress bucket. It's what is going into that bucket and how are we managing those things that are going into that bucket. And exercise is one of the top things that can help to kind of filter and mitigate all those stressors that go in there. It improves your mood, it releases tension, and it improves your mental fitness. It really has shown, science has shown that it helps you to focus and concentrate, be able to, work out problems, problem solving. And I'm not just talking, math problem solving on paper, but, life problem solving. It helps us to feel as though we're more organized and we're able to have good decision-making skills. It improves your job performance. perform activities with better ease. You feel less fatigued, and you are definitely more effective. Um, have higher levels of self-esteem and self-confidence, obviously, and improved self-image, and that one too. Like that's people's motivation right there, is they want to look better. And once you exercise and you start looking better and you start to see some positive reinforcement for your hard work and your self-image and your body image, self-body image goes up, it's a big deal. That has a big snowball effect on your overall life. Continue to perform activities of daily living as we grow older. We all know, we all feel it. It's just part of, we don't get any younger every day. And just to be able to do simple things. Think about things right now that you feel as though you might have a hard time doing that back 10 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, you felt like you could do with ease. Those are the things to me that every once in a while I'll start to do something and I'll be like, oh wow, that wasn't as easy as it used to be. And a lot of times that one thing people do is just bend down or get down on the floor. And they're like, wow, I used to pop right back up, and I don't do that anymore. Experience overall feelings of well-being and good health. I mean, that's just really good for just all of the facets of wellness that we have, and that we talked about last week. It's not all exercise and nutrition. There's so many other facets to health and well-being, but exercise really helps and definitely plays a role in all of those facets. A little bit about wondering, how much or how often should I be exercising? I mean, that's a really, really hard thing to try to define to people, or to kind of set out for someone, because we all definitely start in a different place, especially with physical activity. I mean, some people can start out running, others have to start out very slow walking. So like I said, we all start in a different place, but general guidelines as put out by the World Health Organization are typically, so for children, and I wanted to list them all because I thought it was very interesting, for all of us with families to see, how much activity should a child the ages of 5 to 17 get? And they say that they should get at least 60 minutes a day, and it should be a mix of moderate and vigorous activities. And if you get additional minutes above the 60 minutes, then that's all beneficial. You should be doing, little kids should be doing strength and muscle building. And obviously with children, it's not going to be out, slamming weights or anything like that, but just them out running around, jumping around, climbing ladders, sliding, things like that. Kids should be outside doing this at least 3 times a week. Adults, guidelines here for people between the ages of 18 and 64 is at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity activity. 300 minutes per week gives you extra health benefits. For vigorous intensity, and once again, these are really hard to define, between moderate and vigorous. Moderate is where I always say if you're doing activity, you should try to gauge that on your own personal talk test. If you can have a full-blown conversation, complete sentences, not feel like you have to take a big inhale between them, you're definitely not working even within the moderate. You want to have to be able to, take, if you're out walking, you should be able to say, 3, 4 or words or so, before you feel like you have to kind of like take another breath. Vigorous intensity, that's certainly hard because, as we get older, vigorous, we don't really exercise vigorously. Not many people exercise vigorously, but if you're getting 75 minutes a week, and if you get 150 minutes per week, you get extra health benefits, vigorous activity, and that would definitely be, you know, running. And I'm not just saying running, but activity to where you're going to have a hard time speaking as you're working out or as you're doing your activity. And you should get strength and muscle building at least twice a week between the ages of 18 and 64. Adults, after you get 65 or older, things kind of change a little bit, and really focus changes a little bit too, because we start to lose some of the things that we worked on while we were in our 20s, like agility and balance. So those things kind of start to get refocused upon after you get a little bit older. So for, you know, adults age 65 or over, 150 minutes a week. And once again, that's moderate intensity. So I think someone should use the talk test as they're working out to kind of gauge that intensity for themselves. Vigorous intensity, it stays right there at 75 minutes a week, 150 minutes a week. It gives you extra health benefits. And they're saying for, you know, throwing in muscle and strength building exercises should be the 2 days a week, but you should also include in there balance work as you get a little bit older. That's one of the things that really older people struggle with. And I've taught many classes that just focus on the balance. Next week is our active class. And so we'll do that class literally online like this, and hopefully everybody will be able to see me. And we're going to do some seated chair strength exercises. We'll try some balance exercises, just some things that you can do. And I'll show you modifications for making it really easy to a little bit more challenging. The key thing that we should always be doing whenever you think about any kind of activity that you're doing, think about the reason that you're doing it. Always think prevention. Prevention is always better than treatment. Staying physically active is a proactive strategy to living longer and staying well. I thought that was super important to put in here, because sometimes we really do forget, like, why am I working out? You know, what's my goal here? And your goal is to not have to worry about all the things that can come along that are related to a sedentary lifestyle. You're exercising and you're staying moving, you know, to keep your blood sugar under control, to keep your weight down, to prevent, you know, all the hardening of the arteries, keep your cholesterol levels down. That's the reason that you want to do physical activity, you know. And once again, people do focus on the physical attributes of it, you know, and I want to look better. I want to look better. I mean, everybody says that, right? We all want to look better because that's motivating for us. But I'm really glad that right now things are definitely kind of switching, and the seas are kind of moving a little bit in the direction of, you know, it's not about being a super thin, you know, person to look at. Yes, I mean, it's nice to like the shape of how we are when we look in the mirror, but moreover, it's great to know that you feel strong, that when you go for your checkups, you know, that your A1C is in check, that your blood pressure is within normal ranges, your cholesterol, your triglycerides, all of those numbers, you know, that's the reason why we're staying healthy. How's everybody doing out there? Have we had anybody join as I'm kind of talking along here? No, just still Marge and I?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep
We're
on
just the
going
two of
then,
us?
Marge. What's that?
It's just the two of us?
It's just the two of us, Marge.
Ah, that's okay.
That's okay. All righty. So I have here, which I know Marge you can't see, but I just have a little caricature thing here that says target heart rate. And it's two men walking. One of them's looking at his Fitbit watch, and the watch says, "These little lights indicate heart rate, respiration, and check engine."
There you go.
And you'll see that, Marge, in the PowerPoint that I sent you. It's just a cute little caricature. All right, so target heart rate. So really, what is it? Like, many people don't even know what it is or why they want to be exercising within their target heart rate. So target heart rate is defined as the minimum number of heartbeats in a given amount of time in order to reach the level of exertion necessary for cardiovascular fitness. And that's specific to a person's age, gender, or current physical fitness level. So like I said, target heart rate is not like, oh, just if you know this one number. Target heart rate changes for everybody in what they're doing. So how hard I work out, Marge, is going to be a lot different than how hard you work out.
Yeah.
And I think we did last year. I do believe that we all figured out our target heart rate together, but I included in this PowerPoint just the formula, just a different way to figure out what your target heart rate is. Basically, it's your maximum heart rate minus your resting heart rate times intensity. Then you add your resting heart rate back in, and that gets your target. And I know that's a mouthful, but what it basically is you take 220, and then you take away your age, and that equals your maximum heart rate. And I'll need to step back a little bit too, because really, to be able to kind of formulate this, you need to know what your resting heart rate is. And some people are like, I have no idea what you're even talking about. So I encourage people to find out what your resting heart rate is when you first open your eyes in the morning, and before you even get out of bed. Take your pulse. Take it for 6 seconds and then multiply it by 10. And that will give you what's called your resting heart rate. Like, I know for me, mine is 54. And that's only because that's what my Apple Watch tells me. But that's why I like my Apple Watch. Do you have a Fitbit, Marge?
Yeah, I just bought a new one.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get it set up, but it's called, what did I do with the box? It's called a Fitbit Inspire HR.
Yeah, those are nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got the fitness tracker heart rate.
Absolutely. And it will tell you what your resting heart rate is on that tracker.
Yeah.
And if you have it attached.
Mine runs low. It varies. It goes fast and it will go low.
Yeah.
Goes too low sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But so you know how to figure out your resting heart rate. So what you want to do is you want to take your age. Okay? Yep. So you want to take 220 minus your age.
Oh, of course, I had to get a pen. Wait a minute. Pen that don't want to work.
I'm going to let you figure this out while we're on the call, Marge, because I want you to know what yours should be.
Okay, so take 200. Do you say 220 or 200?
220.
Okay.
Minus your age.
Okay.
Okay. And then whatever you get for a number there, I want you to minus. I know you said your resting heart rate goes up and down, but what is it about for an average?
I have no idea, Rock, because I've never really.
Yep.
What did I do?
I mean, if you look on that, on that little tracker.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it's not on.
Oh, it's not on. Okay. Okay. Well, we can take some time too, Marge. When I call you, when I'm scheduled to call you, we can go through this a little bit better. And
yeah.
So I know I have on my schedule when I'm supposed to call you. I
Yep.
think I put you on for in the morning. I think maybe even tomorrow morning, Margie. So
Yeah, tomorrow would be fine.
yeah. Okay. Well, we can take some time. So just in
Oh,
preparation for that, why don't you go ahead and make sure you have that little tracker on or put it on your wrist or something,
okay.
and we can figure all this out for you.
Okay.
So yeah, we can use
What
that
time you plan on
formula.
calling me in the morning? What time you plan on calling me in the morning?
Oh, let me see. I could probably tell you, Marge. Hold on one second. I think I have it right on my calendar here. Do. I have you at about 8:30 tomorrow morning.
Okay, that'd be perfect because I have an appointment at 11. I have to be in
Okay.
town by 9:45. 10:45. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you a call too then, March, but we'll finish going down through this and I'll
Okay.
still call you tomorrow. So, all right. So, and I also gave in that PowerPoint, March, I gave you a way to figure out really kind of closely what your target heart rate is, but I also gave you a chart that kind of tells you where you should be. It has your age on one side, and then it says if you're a beginner or if you're kind of like used to exercise or if you're an expert exercise person. So if you go down on the side and you figure out your age, if you're a beginner, and I'm not going to say out loud how old I think you are, Marge, but I think I know. So you're going to be.
You can say it. It's okay. It's okay. You can say it. I'm
That's
61.
okay. No, yours is going to be right about 100 beats a minute, Marge, is where you want your target heart rate to be.
Okay.
So, and and as we get older, they don't have these expectations that you have this whopping heart rate.
Yeah.
Exercise is for the young people, right?
Yeah. As I was told once by a doctor, I can do exercises, but I can't just stop cold turkey. I have to
Yep.
cool down.
Yeah.
Do it gradually. So.
Yeah. And all I did too was summarize this PowerPoint with a little quote by Edward Stanley that says that, those who think that they have no time for bodily exercise will sooner or later have to find time for illness. Because
Yeah.
it's true. Yeah, it's true. Like I said, we always need to bring this back around to, why am I doing this? And it's all for the prevention piece, to be able to live a long, productive, healthy life. And unfortunately, when you don't focus on that, and I myself know people that, it's hindsight's 2020, and they always say, "Oh, I wish I'd taken better care of myself in my earlier ages," or "I wish I'd, got into exercise." Well, first off, you can do it at any given point. You don't have to think that there's a cutoff point to be able to start some nice activity to do. It's just everybody's going to start in a different place. So just remember, the reason why we do want to exercise, and we do want to have, just a good, healthy, long life. It's
Yeah.
too bad to be chained to, a lot of prescriptions that you have to take every morning, and that in itself is stressful. So to not have to have those, that would be great, huh?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Um, so what do you think about all this, Marge? We can definitely go over it more tomorrow too. So
Look, I'm trying to print off my computer.
oh yeah? Oh, okay.
That's why I've got everything. I got one page up, but I can't get the rest of it.
Oh, well, it might take a little while to download for
yeah.
you. So
I mean, it pops up on the side of my screen.
yeah.
The PowerPoint's what you sent me. That's what I'm looking at when you're talking to me.
Yes, and all you have to do, Marge, is see the little arrows on your laptop, that the up down on the right hand side.
Yep.
If you push the little arrow over to the right, it should go to the next slide.
Yeah, it is. It's going.
Yep.
That's what I was saying. I was following you through those.
Yeah, you can just, yeah, perfect. And that's what I want people to do. You know, if they are calling in, if they can look at that PowerPoint as I'm going down through it, that's very useful. So, and you'll see
Yeah,
all of that information just as we went over it.
yeah, to improve the benefits for physical activity guidelines,
Nice.
target heart rate,
Nice.
the benefit. I got it right here in front of me.
Fantastic. Well, look it over to Marge, and we will talk about things that are more specific to you tomorrow, during
Yep.
our meeting tomorrow. And I'd like to hear a little bit more about how you're feeling. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shut off this recording then, so that Joanna can go ahead and post this to the intranet. And we'll talk about things specific to you tomorrow. Does that sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining, and I will call
Yeah,
you in
well,
the morning.
alrighty, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye, Margie.
Bye.